about me. Y'all, that people be mad. You gonna always be mad. What gotta say? If you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping.
So D-Lo, we finna turn up on these. He got me on one, playing on my top.
I'm finna give y'all exactly what y'all been looking for. The people who been talking a little crazy, I see y'all. I see the crazy people, okay? I see the crazy people that's rappers. I see the crazy people that's bloggers. I see the crazy people that's fans. I see the crazy people that's naughties. Y'all.
The internet is on fire tonight, and everything spiraled the moment GloRilla went into a full meltdown. Nobody could have predicted how fast this would explode. Right after Megan revealed the shocking reason Brandon Ingram allegedly walked away, leaked messages started surfacing everywhere. Insiders are calling these DMs pure chaos. Brandon is supposedly confessing things that have fans questioning everything they thought they knew. And now clips of GloRilla yelling during a private call are already spreading across social media. In the leaked audio, her voice is shaking with anger as she threatens to expose what she calls the real truth, warning that it could ruin everyone involved. Social media is unraveling. Hashtags are climbing, fans are choosing sides, and comment sections have turned into non-stop arguments. But the situation doesn't stop online. Sources claim there was an intense confrontation behind closed doors where GloRilla allegedly slammed doors, gripped her phone, and demanded answers, with whispers of secret recordings capturing raw and unfiltered emotions. Then came the deleted Instagram stories. Subtle posts hinting at deeper betrayals and hidden motives. One anonymous insider claims Brandon's moves weren't just heartbreak-driven, but calculated actions meant to publicly embarrass GloRilla. Viral clips are fueling heated debates, with fans dissecting every frame, trying to figure out who's lying and who's really behind the scandal. And just when people thought it couldn't escalate further, a mysterious audio leak surfaced online. The betrayal hinted at is far deeper than anyone expected. Now, everyone is asking the same question. What really happened between GloRilla, Megan, and Brandon? This has clearly grown beyond social media gossip. Stay tuned, because once the next secret comes out, nothing is going to look the same again. GloRilla did not hold back this time. She allegedly stormed into Megan's private chat, and leaked screenshots set the internet off almost instantly. The messages show GloRilla typing in all caps, accusing Megan of playing games and feeding false stories straight to Brandon. And people say the tension is obvious just reading them. Insiders claim GloRilla had backup proof ready, including a voice recording of Brandon allegedly admitting the real reason for the breakup. According to sources, that reason is not just messy, but reputation-shaking, the kind of truth that could permanently change how people see him. Fans are now breaking down every word, especially after a viral clip surfaced showing GloRilla in tears saying, "I can't believe I was betrayed like this." That video spread across TikTok within minutes and sparked non-stop reactions. The fallout came fast. Twitter threads popped up analyzing every frame. Memes flooded timelines, and Brandon quickly became the main villain in the narrative. But the chaos did not stop there. One anonymous source claims GloRilla confronted Megan during a private video call that lasted over an hour, and the energy was intense the entire time. Doors were allegedly slammed, phones were thrown, and part of that moment leaked through a partial audio clip where GloRilla can be heard saying, "You think I won't show the receipts? I have them." Fans are now demanding the full recording. The circulating clips are already trending with hashtags accusing Brandon of lying, with dramatic edits spreading everywhere. Another insider claims Brandon tried sending a last-minute text to stop GloRilla from going public, but it was already done. She reportedly had screenshots, deleted chats, and even a secret video that could flip everything. Now, the online storm is pulling in influencers and other public figures. Some are openly siding with GloRilla, while others are calling Brandon's behavior unacceptable. Fan theories keep multiplying, and the situation is still unfolding. Stay tuned, because once the next secret drops, nothing is going to feel the same again. GloRilla clearly reached her breaking point this time. She allegedly stormed into Megan's private chat, and once those screenshots leaked, the internet reacted instantly. The messages show GloRilla typing in all caps, accusing Megan of playing games and feeding fake stories straight to Brandon, and people say the tension is obvious just reading the screenshots. Insiders say GloRilla did not walk in empty-handed. She reportedly had backup proof ready, including a voice recording where Brandon is said to admit the real reason the breakup happened.
Got you! Got you! Take them out! Ah!
According to sources, that reason is not just messy, but image damaging. The kind of truth that could permanently change how people see him. Fans immediately started breaking down every detail, especially after a viral clip surfaced showing GloRilla in tears saying, "I can't believe I was betrayed like this." That clip spread across TikTok within minutes and triggered non-stop reactions. The fallout moved fast. Twitter threads popped up analyzing every frame, memes flooded timelines, and Brandon was quickly painted as the villain in the story. But the chaos did not stop there. One anonymous source claims GloRilla confronted Megan during a private video call that lasted over an hour, and the tension stayed high the entire time. Doors were allegedly slammed, phones were tossed, and part of that confrontation leaked through a partial audio clip where GloRilla can be heard saying, "You think I won't show the receipts? I have them." Fans are now demanding the full recording. The clips already circulating are trending with hashtags accusing Brandon of lying, paired with dramatic edits spreading across social media. Another insider claims Brandon sent a last-minute text trying to stop GloRilla from going public, but by then it was already too late. She reportedly had screenshots, deleted chats, and even a secret video that could flip the entire story. Now the online storm is pulling in influencers and other public figures. Some are openly siding with GloRilla, while others are calling Brandon's behavior unacceptable. Fan theories keep multiplying, and the situation is still unfolding. The situation only kept getting heavier once more details started leaking into the open, and people close to the circle say this mess has been building for months, not days. According to multiple insiders, GloRilla had been sensing something was off long before the breakup went public, noticing late replies, switched up energy, and conversations that never fully added up. Behind the scenes, Brandon was allegedly moving different, saying one thing to her while telling another story elsewhere, and that gap is where everything started to crack. Friends claim GloRilla tried to keep things calm at first, choosing private talks over public drama, but every attempt to get clarity just left her with more questions. When Megan entered the picture more openly, the tension spiked fast, with GloRilla reportedly feeling played on both sides at the same time. People online are now revisiting old posts, interviews, and captions, convinced the signs were there all along, just hidden in plain sight. Screenshots that once seemed harmless are now being reread with a different lens, and fans are saying the timeline is not lining up the way it was originally presented. The streets are buzzing with theories, some saying this was never just a breakup, but a setup that slowly unfolded behind the scenes. As the internet dug deeper, more voices started coming forward claiming they had inside knowledge of how calculated this situation really was. One source alleges Brandon had already prepared his exit long before things blew up, carefully curating what would be said publicly while keeping certain conversations private. That's where the alleged recordings come into play, because insiders say GloRilla didn't start collecting proof out of spite, but out of self-protection. She reportedly felt cornered, realizing her version of events could easily be flipped or erased if she stayed quiet. That fear pushed her to save messages, keep voice notes, and document moments she felt were being misrepresented. Fans are now debating whether this was a smart move or a sign of how deep the distrust had grown. Either way, it paints a picture of a relationship that was already fractured beneath the surface. The more people analyze it, the more it looks like emotions weren't the only thing involved here. Pride, image, and control all seem to be part of the equation, and that's why this story refuses to cool down. What really sent things into overdrive was how quickly public opinion started shifting once those emotional clips surfaced. Seeing GloRilla visibly hurt, shaking, and clearly overwhelmed changed the tone for a lot of viewers. This wasn't polished drama or influencer theatrics. This looked raw and unfiltered, and that's why people connected to it so fast. Fans who once stayed neutral started picking sides, saying you can fake messages, but you can't fake that kind of emotion. Others pushed back, arguing that emotions don't automatically equal truth, and that's where the divide grew wider. Online spaces turned into debate zones, with people arguing timelines, intentions, and motivations nonstop. Some accused Brandon of trying to protect his image at all costs, while others claimed GloRilla took things too far by letting private moments leak into the public eye. The split is deep, and neither side seems ready to back down. Every new post, every vague caption, every liked comment gets dissected within minutes, proving this story has taken on a life of its own. Now, the pressure is reaching a point where silence feels impossible, and insiders say more revelations could drop at any moment. Those close to the situation claim there are still pieces the public hasn't seen, details that could either clear things up or make the fallout even worse.
Yeah. It's Sersky.
You gotta put in some work today.
Thank you for it.
Give me some good, give me some calm. Can you make me better? Give me some calm. Can I please get a
GloRilla is reportedly standing firm, believing the truth will speak for itself if everything comes out as is. Meanwhile, Brandon's camp is said to be scrambling, trying to figure out damage control while the narrative keeps shifting without their control. Influencers, commentators, and online personalities are circling this story like hawks, knowing one new leak could flip the conversation overnight. At this stage, it's no longer just about who hurt who. It's about credibility, trust, and who controls the story moving forward. Fans are glued to their screens, waiting for the next drop, fully aware that when it comes, there's no walking any of this back. This isn't just a moment anymore, it's a full-blown saga that's still unfolding in real time. This moment has officially crossed the line from casual scrolling into something people feel pulled into whether they plan to or not. What started as whispers and screenshots has now turned into a non-stop conversation that keeps growing by the hour. Every refresh brings a new angle, a new theory, or a new clip. People swear changes everything. Viewers are no longer just watching from the sidelines. They're actively debating timelines, motives, and who knew what before it all blew up. Comment sections are moving faster than anyone can keep up with, and people are realizing that if they step away too long, they miss entire chapters of the story. That's why this feels less like gossip and more like a live digital moment unfolding in real time. People want to say they were here when it happened, when the first cracks showed, when the narrative started shifting, and when public opinion began to turn. Being part of this conversation now feels like being part of a cultural moment that's still writing itself. What really keeps pulling people back in is the sense that no one has full control of the narrative anymore. Every side seems to be reacting instead of leading, and that uncertainty is what keeps the tension high. One post sparks a reaction, that reaction sparks a response, and suddenly a whole new wave of speculation floods the timeline. Viewers aren't just reacting emotionally, they're analyzing like detectives, comparing statements, checking timestamps, and calling out inconsistencies. It's messy, loud, and relentless, but it's also why engagement keeps climbing. People don't just want updates, they want to be heard. They want their perspective in the mix, their theory validated, their questions acknowledged. That's what turns watchers into participants. When you like, comment, or share, you're not just boosting a post, you're adding your voice to a debate that's already echoing across platforms. This is also where momentum matters. Stories like this don't wait for anyone to catch up. They move fast, sometimes too fast, and the people who stay plugged in from the start are the ones who see how the narrative evolves instead of relying on watered-down summaries later. Every interaction pushes the story further into the spotlight, drawing in more eyes and more opinions. That's how moments turn into movements online. What people engage with becomes what platforms amplify, and what gets amplified shapes how the story is remembered. Viewers who understand that aren't just watching passively anymore. They're choosing to stay connected, knowing that each update builds on the last, and that context matters more than ever. At this point, calling it simple drama doesn't really fit. The reactions, the debates, and the emotional investment have made it something bigger. People are talking about trust, loyalty, image, and accountability all through the lens of this unfolding situation. It's tapping into bigger conversations about how stories get told online and who gets believed first. That's why it's sticking around longer than most viral moments. It keeps evolving. Just when it feels like things might slow down, another layer gets peeled back and the conversation resets. Viewers don't want to miss the moment when everything shifts again, because history online shows that the biggest turns often come without warning. Staying tapped in now means you're not just catching highlights later, you're watching the full picture take shape. You're seeing how reactions change, how narratives flip, and how one moment can redefine everything that came before it. This is the kind of situation people will reference weeks from now, saying they remember when it first broke or when the tone changed. Being here, engaging, and staying updated is how you stay ahead of that curve. The story is still moving, the conversation is still growing, and the next update could land at any moment, changing the direction all over again. As things stand right now, this story is nowhere near finished, and that's exactly why so many eyes are locked in. The pieces are still shifting, narratives are still being challenged, and every new detail has the power to flip public opinion all over again. Situations like this don't just disappear overnight. They simmer, resurface, and evolve as more information comes out. What people think they know today could look completely different tomorrow, and that uncertainty is what keeps the conversation alive. This isn't about one clip or one screenshot anymore. It's about how stories unfold in real time when everyone has a platform and no one fully controls the narrative. What makes this moment stand out is how invested people have become. Viewers aren't just consuming updates, they're questioning motives, revisiting old moments, and holding every statement up to scrutiny. That level of attention doesn't fade quickly. It builds pressure. Pressure for answers, pressure for clarity, and pressure for someone to finally break the silence in a way that sticks. And when that happens, the ripple effect is usually bigger than anyone expects. We've seen it before. One new reveal can reopen everything and pull even more people into the discussion. The next chapter could come from anywhere. A post that stays up a little too long. A comment that wasn't meant to be seen. A leak that changes how everything is framed. Until then, the speculation keeps running. The theories keep multiplying, and the audience keeps growing. People want to be present when the shift happens, not catching up after the dust settles. That's why staying connected matters, because once the tone changes, there's no rewinding the moment. So before you dip, make sure you smash that like button if you're riding with us, tap subscribe if you're a real one, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single messy update. Trust me, you're gonna want to be here for the next video.